Chia.
41 chias?
41 Chias. I don't think I used to do it back then. We didn't have the same theme song.
Yeah, we did.
I'd got to go back and listen to see what it was.
It was the same.
It's not memorable.
The same theme song.
No.
No?
No, I think we had something different at the very beginning.
I know.
To be completely honest. What's going on, everybody? 41, episode 41, Strictly Apple Talk. We're going through a little bit of a warm spell here in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's nice out. I think it's supposed to go back
awesome.
down. Yeah.
It was like 4 weeks of just cold. And then now it's like, it's sort of like at night, in the morning it's cold, but during the day
it's warm.
You see the sun. The grass is starting to get a little greener.
Yeah.
On our side, which is nice.
Yep. It's getting warm. Speaking of Ohio news, this is something just random that I was reading about. Crocker Park. It's a mall up in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting a new Apple Store. They have had an Apple Store since
saw this.
2008, but they're getting a revamp.
I thought I saw something on the internet that they were just getting a store in general. But it's a revamp of the store.
Yeah. It says more modern than its original store at the shopping center, which first opened in 2008. But speaking of that, so Apple's newer stores, and I think we'll start to see this. We'll probably get a revamp at like Polaris and Easton around here where we're at. There's the newer stores are going to be an Apple pickup station where customers can collect online orders, kind of like Chipotle. You know, you pick up your online order. I
like how out of all the options, you select Chipotle.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like everywhere
I've
has
done it
online
once.
pickup now.
I picked it up once. You know, I was not too long ago, I was in D.C. With my family, and we went to a McDonald's, and there was a lot of like homeless people around in that area. It was right beside White House too. And the guy goes, "Yeah, that's mine. Like my order." You could tell he did not order that. But the guy was like, "How are you going to prove it?"
Right.
You know what I mean? He's like, "No, that's my number." And I
Show
always think
your
to
ID.
myself, like, if you really, like, if you went broke, you're living on the streets, why not just
a
I would never.
random
just a
homeless
random
dude?
guy?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
if
go
you're
in
homeless on the streets, I would walk into places and be like, "Oh, that's my online
Yeah.
order."
Order 96. Yep.
Yep. Favorite number. Here we go.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so the newer Apple stores are going to have pickup stations, along with a Genius Bar with counters set at varied heights for improved accessibility.
That's nice because they are always low. And I'm a little taller, not more tall than the average, but.
Yeah. I think the old ones, they didn't include wheelchairs. That was the whole point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Apple store at Easton, it looks a lot different than it originally did. Because I remember going in there and the Genius Bar was actually a Genius Bar.
I was
Yeah.
with the one in Polaris. The one in Polaris is really nice inside the mall.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So they're getting a new store
Yeah.
on Saturday. That's exciting.
Is it opening Saturday?
Yep. Opens on Saturday. I wonder how long they've been closed, though. I don't know.
I would say
they do stuff
they
very
are
quick.
working 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like 7-day makeover.
Can you imagine like being shut down for that long in one location? How much?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that
Obviously,
makes them
they need
nervous.
some write-offs.
Yeah, we're gonna have that open one and a new one in Italy because the one in Cleveland's down just for a day. Anywho, lots of rumors going around. As we're getting closer, we already talked about the new MacBook Airs. We talked about
iOS 9.
iOS 19. The new stuff coming back around is the new phones.
Oh, yes.
And we are getting closer and closer and closer.
And you know what? Did you hear what we got off buyback yesterday?
I did. I meant to bring it in
Can
there.
you go get that?
I don't know what I'm looking for.
The iPhone that we got from buyback yesterday. It's the iPhone 16e.
Ask Brandon. He knows.
Channel has it on his desk, actually. I couldn't believe it. We got a buyback in. Somebody came in and said, and they had the receipt, because, you know, the newer the device is, you got to kind of check on if it's been purchased, you know, because you get blacklisted, all that. And the guy said, or the lady said, I don't know who brought it in, but they're like, yep, we bought it. And they bought it in the UK. And if you look at it, it has the SIM card slot on the side.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so
cool.
it's a which is fine. You can still use that in the US. But I thought it was pretty interesting.
That's a quick turnaround coming from the UK to here.
If they got it the day they came out, and then it's a 15-hour flight.
That's true.
But it came out 2 weeks ago. Right? I think it was on like the 9th.
I mean, like, tell me your story. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You know,
I would want
with
to
this
know
phone.
more. But if you look at it, there's it's a different looking charger on the back, and we'll show you guys here in a second when he gets it. He's coming back now, but there's a different looking charger on the back side of it. But it honestly looks good. It looks very similar to the iPhone.
What do you mean, different looking charge?
the block is different in the UK.
Oh, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
it says
Yeah,
what type of block to use. But the phone looks nearly identical. And no, not identical. It's very close to the SE. It's just the size of the 11.
Yeah.
Or it's the size of like the 14. I'll show you here in a second. It's pretty cool though. It's space gray or space black, that color.
Yeah.
It's a nice phone.
Is it lighter? He said, hold on 1 minute. Hey, let's talk about one more thing before we get to the phones too. Another thing that came across my news desk. Apple working on mystery new display. Like the standalone display, like you have an XR.
The studio display.
Studio display.
Or the,
seemingly has bigger plans in regards to external displays. Specifically, the code name is J527 at Apple. However, these leaks come out.
27 sounds like a 27-inch.
Yeah. However, not sure what this additional monitor will end up being, so it's mystery for now. It's speculated that Apple could be developing 2 different second-generation studio display models and will eventually choose which one to launch. So, alternatively, guess that the J527 model could be second-generation Pro Display XDR. The current Pro Display XDR launched in 2019, and the Studio Display followed in 2022.
They need to have a more affordable $1,000 or less screen. I think $1,600.
That's hard to do for Apple.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Because $1,600 for their current display, it's kind of like it's pretty expensive for just a display. Now you have to buy a Mac Studio with it.
Yeah.
And that's it's either it's $1,600 or it's $6,500.
Yeah.
Where's the levels? Where's the Mac?
But they do, I know, like just standalone, external displays, but they do make it possible now. I've seen a lot of those setups where it's the new Mac Mini and they use their iPad as the display.
Yeah, but I mean, you want more than a 13-inch screen.
That's true. Well, now you're just getting picky.
Yeah, but it's like a reasonable picky. But I think that's a good idea. They haven't really revamped those in a very long time.
Yep.
Talked about it before. The XDR display that I use, I love it. It's huge. It's heavy. It's a very nice screen, but it's not typically affordable. But maybe they're not going affordable.
Yeah.
Like if you want affordable, you're buying a MacBook Air.
Yeah.
If you want this type of screen, you're going with this, or your iMac. You do have the $1,200 iMac that you can get.
Yep.
That you can use a 24-inch screen on, and you get everything that you want with it. But if you want to do video editing and photography and stuff like that, and you want this screen, and you want the Mac Studio, you want that set up, okay, you better get $10,000 ready.
I always had a curiosity question, and I just thought about again, was external display. So say, I know I do, like at home, like my desk setup, I plug my MacBook Pro into 2 external screens, right?
Yep.
Most of the people that I do know, especially like creatives, because it's so expensive, the external monitors, they always have not Apple monitors.
Yes.
It's the easiest way to buy bigger screens,
Yep.
more affordable. Can you plug, if I wanted my...
I don't know. I know what you're going to say.
Into an iMac?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to say that. I was wrong. There's a way to...
And use that as an external monitor?
Not without modifications on the inside.
Really?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, can you use a non-Apple external and a Apple external? I'm pretty sure you can.
I'm sure you can. Yeah. But yeah, I always thought about that. Like, can I use that screen on the iMac?
I'm assuming that you
can't.
David said there's a way to do it, but that's just like going in there and just being extra with it.
Yeah. I mean,
not typically.
Software-wise, you can, because you can actually, you can actually like duplicate your desktop onto it. But like if I wanted to plug it into a monitor, it can't.
You wouldn't use a iMac as an external display.
Yeah. So show us the phone.
Okay. And sorry, I was laughing. If you were watching this, I was laughing at Alex because he has a can of mini Sprite.
Yeah.
Mini can of Sprite.
It makes my hand feel big. It makes me feel good.
Honestly,
this is how you feel with normal pop cans.
To be honest, the Brooke likes those minis. She'll get like the Diet Coke minis, or she'll get the cherry. I love cherry Coke.
Yeah.
It's the best soda that there is. I would say that. And I don't drink it. Yeah. I think Diet Coke's pretty good too, to be honest. But
Hey, you're weird.
no, that's like a new thing too. But
What, being weird liking Diet Coke?
no, just enjoying Diet Coke more than
Really?
regular. That's how I know I'm getting elderly.
And like you said,
Not that- I'm not that old, but-
Oh my God. At the beginning of this year, you're starting to take your health more seriously.
Yeah, it
And,
tastes
like,
better. Now
No,
I don't.
It doesn't.
Oh no,
it doesn't.
definitely tastes better.
Nothing,
No, it doesn't.
Nothing diet tastes better.
No.
Not Mountain Dew.
That's for sure.
Let's move on, and let's agree to disagree.
Sorry.
But that's why I was laughing. So here is the iPhone 16e. I want to take this up to the camera, but I can't without leaving the mic. Can you take this closer to that? Or yeah, here, come here, John. Do a full round scope right in front of the camera. You can see it.
Trying to focus on my face.
Yeah, it is. There you go, right there. So that's the iPhone 16e. It's very nice. Honestly, it's a very good phone. Initially, when we did our first podcast on this, I talked some trash about it. But after putting this in my hand, I enjoy it. It's clean. It's the matte. It's very matte. It's the matte black
color.
that you would have on your 15 Pro.
That's the one that I have.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
I have the iPhone 50 Pro. I think it's the exact same color.
It's one camera.
And
One
you know
thing
what?
that-
I was like, man, that camera, even the lens itself is bigger. It's not. It's actually a tad bit smaller
Yeah.
than these. But being a standalone camera, it looks huge.
Yeah.
It looks big on the back.
Open up the camera and tell us just initial look at the clarity from that camera. You know, I think a lot of people buy the Pro just because they want to say they have it, but does it look good?
Very. I like it. The 4K.
For that $600 budget,
4K 60.
I think we're there. I think it's a good idea.
I would
Yeah.
agree.
No, I think it's killer. I mean, almost as far as like the camera app goes, it's almost. I mean, do the same stuff.
Yeah,
that
I haven't
mine
really
does.
looked too much at it, but there's you have the speaker on the back or the mic, you have the light, you have the camera, which is big. If you look at this just like this, let me see where am I at here. If you're looking at just this, it specifically looks kind of like the back, very similar to the back glass, not the edges, just the back like the iPhone SE. But then they took that, they squared it up, they made it the size of the 14, and actually, the iPhone 14 now has the colors. The iPhone 14, iPhone 16e can swap screens, which is actually pretty interesting. But I like it. I like it overall. And this one has a eSIM card on the side of it. So, or not an eSIM, a SIM card slot. And it's not only eSIM, but this is SIM card as well. Somebody sold us this that just came back from the UK. They bought it opening day. They did have the receipt for it, so we verified that it was paid for and purchased through Apple. But they were over their time limit, so they had to sell it to us as far as the return through Apple.
It's
So.
crazy.
Yep. I like that, though.
Yeah. Okay. So let's jump into the phones. What we came here specifically, the majority to talk about. We are going to talk about folding displays and
Dude, I'm glad you're talking about this because I saw something yesterday about it.
And when you said Apple would never go to folding displays,
I don't
right?
think they're going to. Dude, why would you?
That's so
It's already set.
Samsung-like,
It's set.
man.
I don't know if it's set.
It's
It
happening.
is. Yeah. Production starts in 2026.
Why?
Why?
Why not?
Why fold?
Okay. So all four.
Why fold?
Why fold?
We're going back to the 80s, or we're going back to when they first had the phone.
All four iPhone 17 models rumored to feature. We're going to talk about 17 first. 17 models rumored to feature upgraded 24 megapixel front camera. The Pro is going to feature 12 gigabytes of RAM, 48 megapixel telephoto camera, and more. That's the 16 Pro models or the 17 Pros. So this means that all three Fusion, ultra wide, and telephoto cameras on the iPhone 17 Pro models will be 48 megapixels, which is huge because I can only get one lens to get to 48 on here, and it's a guaranteed 48 on the 17 Pro. So like if I want to use 48 megapixels, right? If I want like a clear, I'm at the most beautiful landscape I've ever seen, and I put it in RAW, and I take, I want 48 megapixels, so I take it that way. When I go to edit it, I can zoom in as far as I want to, or I can blow it up as far as I want to when I print it. It's not guaranteed on my phone to get 48 megapixels. It uses the smartest that it thinks it is.
Huh.
So I've tried before, and it'll be like 36, or it'll get up to like 28.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. This is a guaranteed 48, which is huge for all three lenses, which is
And that's on the 17 that comes out in
the
September.
17 Pro. Yeah.
17 Pro.
Yeah. So to talk about the foldable display. So Apple, it's already said Apple prioritizing foldable display efficiency to boost battery life.
How,
Apple's first foldable display prioritizes power efficiency. To achieve this, the company has successfully reduced the display driver integrated circuit, IC, from 28 nanometers to 16, a significant advancement, which will help prolong battery life. First foldable recently entered the new product introduction called NPI phase at Foxconn, with mass production slated to begin in the second half of 2026. Reports suggest Apple could launch the device either late next year or in early 2027. Yeah.
What is the point of it again? I don't. So here's where I'm going to stay on this. My phone is fine the way it is.
Yep.
The only benefit that I see of being able to fold it is that you would not crack your screen as much if you drop it, but it has to be folded when you drop it. I don't understand them putting something inside of a phone that would make you bend. Like, we started with regular phones, right? Went to flip phones, went back to regular phones with a touchscreen, and now we're going back to flip phones with a touchscreen.
I think it's more so of, okay, so I have this screen, right? But I want to watch something more iPad mini size or work on a document. So
like the big Galaxy Pad thing they have?
So I can unfold two more screens together.
Now, do you think they can do all that but still make it that thickness, the thickness of that phone?
I think it'll be thicker.
Are you okay with that?
I don't know. You had to pose it like that. I never thought about that.
Well, you got to think about the thickness here. Okay? When you have the phone, imagine this. Yeah, so let's look at this. That new phone, we just shared some contact information. If you think about it, it's going to be that thick now, right? Unless they make it extremely more thin.
Is this going to be like, so whenever you go to the Apple Store and you buy
Okay,
an iPhone,
this is triple my current width.
You have right now, the 16, the 16 Pro Max, and the 16 Pro. Is this going to be like just another option? Or is it going to be all iPhones
the
moving
Pro?
forward?
I would assume the Pro Max would be
The foldable,
Or they have a new name,
option.
like the light.
That's what I'm saying.
Light folding.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is there another option to whatever comes out in September? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Does
what's
that
going to
make sense
happen
what I'm
is I'm
saying,
going to end up loving it, and I'm going to end up using it.
Okay, so
That's how it always is.
this is where it gets interesting. Ready? Apple's first foldable iPhone estimated to cost nearly twice as much as the 16 Pro Max.
So $3,000. Well, I would say 2,200 baseline, 256.
So this report said an investor research note today with the British bank Barclays analyst Tim Long said Apple's first foldable iPhone could have a starting price in the $2,300 range in the United States, which would make it by far the most expensive iPhone model ever. The first foldable iPhone would start $22.99, which means it would cost nearly twice as much as the 16 Pro Max, which starts out at $11.99. Yeah.
That's a lot of money for a phone. How much was the Galaxy Fold? What's the starting price in the Galaxy Fold when it first came out? I think it's the Galaxy Fold. I think it was like $1,800 or $1,900. I might be wrong, though. I don't really mess with that stuff.
The first foldable iPhone would feature a 7.
I don't really do that. Off Amazon, you can get a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3G, buy new for almost $1,200.
I wonder how much it was when it first came out, though. No clue. But go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
The foldable iPhone feature a 7.8-inch inner display, 5.5-inch outer display, 2 rear cameras, 1 front camera, Touch ID, power button instead of Face ID.
Hold on. What was the size of the inner display?
This is all on hearsay, but the inner display is 5.5-inch outer,
So the
7.8 inner. So there's a screen on the outside.
So the outer screen.
It doesn't make sense.
Before you unfold it, it's going to be, what was the outer?
5.5.
That's small, isn't it? What is the size of this screen?
So my assumption would be yes. So before you unfold it, there's an outer display like you would have a flip phone. There's like, you see everything like your notifications, time, everything else. You unfold it to get your big screen.
But how big's the big screen?
7.8. What I would assume inner display, that would mean double, right?
7.8 because the iPad mini is 6.7.
Yeah.
Check out the new iPad mini.
So if I'm reading it right, 5.5 on the outside, right? Just a mini display. You open it up and there's 7.8 because it's dual, right? right? So that's 14.
It wouldn't be two 7.8s. It wouldn't be a 14-inch.
Yeah, it would.
You said the size of the iPad Mini.
Yes. Hold on. Let's think about this. And we're doing some quick math here.
So a 5.5 outer.
8.3 inch long.
So 7.8 is the size of an iPad Mini. So it wouldn't be two 7.8s. There's
Okay.
no way.
Okay.
Because they couldn't flip it and it only be 5. Unless they flipped it and it's the size of an iPad Mini. That's the only way there could be two iPad Minis.
How cool would that be, though?
So
Having a phone
that's just
this
so
big?
much. No.
Just
You're
to,
extra, Alex.
just to be like, you roll up to a meeting, you're like, hey, let me get on my phone. It's like a sword.
No.
Snap.
That is not a good reason to buy a new phone.
The
That is terrible.
Waited for this moment.
No, but I think that the 5.8 on the outside, which is like the size of the iPhone Mini. So you'd have the iPhone Mini screen on the outside.
Yep.
What would be up the top? I'm guessing there would be a speaker. I don't even physically see.
Because it
I cannot
says
visually see the design of this.
so 5.5 inch outer display, 2 rear cameras, and 1 front camera. The front camera would be on the inside, right? So
This is
my
bizarre.
front camera could be on the outside and the inside because you would need a camera right here to take a picture before you unfold it,
yeah.
right? And then you
Yeah.
unfold it, and then there have to be another camera on the inside.
Well, they call this rear and this front, right?
right.
So
If you unfold it, is there a camera? Or is that technically a rear camera now once you have unfolded it?
okay, that's just semantics. Okay, literally. So this is my phone. This is the front of my phone, right? There's a 5.5 inch screen right here.
Okay.
I've got 2 cameras and some sort of sensors.
On the front of your phone.
That's the front of my phone.
No.
And then, yeah, it's just the outside of a flip phone. He didn't go through a flip phone stage.
You don't
right?
go through flip phones.
So, like, I pull up my flip phone. I got a tiny little screen, and a little camera. Okay, so do this, and then I open it up. Screen. So 2 cameras, 1 camera.
So when the phone is closed, there's only one side of the phone has cameras.
Yes.
But what if you
Correct.
don't? What if you want to take a picture without unfolding your phone?
You got to unfold.
Nah, I don't know about that one.
OD. Too much.
I'm going to draw a picture.
No, I saw pictures of this, and maybe we can post something like that in the story or something. But there was, and it was a huge bump on the back. It was pretty much what I saw was, and I'm visualizing this right now, guys. So visualize it with me if you're watching this. Take a look at the screen. But it was pretty much this bump out went all the way across the whole entire top. This whole thing, and there were a few different models of it. It had 3 dots in a row, so it was 1 camera, 2 camera, 3 camera. The whole top was a bump out. The second one was like this, but it was in the middle of the phone, which honestly I don't think it's too bad of an idea to begin with, considering that, it would kind of make sense.
When you put your phone down like this, if you had it in the middle, it would balance on it. It just scratch the lenses like crazy.
Yeah,
it balances on it now, though, dude. Look.
It kind of balances on the ridge.
I don't know. But I would also say get a case. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But go ahead with
should be
this.
able
This is
to-
actually very intriguing
So,
to me.
a Touch ID power button instead of Face ID. So, like on the side, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
High density battery. Expects the device to be as thin as 4.5 millimeters when unfolded, and between 9 and 9.5 when folded.
Can we give an example of the thickness of 9.5 millimeters? How many quarters? Or what is the example of 9.5 millimeters?
Like, I wonder how thick this is.
And how thin is this battery?
I would assume that's what this is. Like Touch ID.
Oh,
Face ID.
yeah. The Touch ID thing, I don't know if anybody would use it, but there's probably some people that would.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily want to push that one to the side. But I think
A Touch ID power button. Oh, they're saying power button. So, like, this power button would just have a thumb.
you
imprint in
just
it.
do this and it opens up.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad idea either.
I mean, it only gets part of your whatever. But
It's really small. Everything that I'm showing, like, there's nothing to compare it to. It's just really small.
9.5 millimeters.
Yeah.
What's the thickness of the current iPhone 16 Pro Max? The thickness of the current iPhone. It can't be less than this, dude. And you said how thick was the when it's opened? How thin is it?
when it's open, it's at
8.25 millimeters.
This
So
is 8.25.
millimeters for a 16 Pro Max.
So you're telling me.
They would add a quarter to this thing and it would flip open.
So you're telling me 8.6. He said
8.25.
8.25. So
Millimeters.
when it's folded, it's 9 to 9 and
9.5.
half.
That's not that much,
Yeah,
dude.
the 16
Yeah,
Pro Max
it's
has a height
just
of
barely.
6.42 inches, width of 3.
I think the best way to think about that would be it's this.
Yeah, with the case on.
Just
I don't know how they do that.
If they could do that, now brings a lot more questions, okay? That phone's going to be extremely expensive to fix. It's going to be extremely expensive to fix because I know the Galaxy flip phones or whatever they called it, those screens, you might as well just get a new phone.
Does it change the game as far as, like, I've seen the machines that you guys use, especially the...
It would change the game. You break your screen, I don't
like
even,
how they're placed
I don't
on
know.
there.
Now, here's what I would also say. Apple doesn't do anything that would be too hard for them to do on a constant basis.
Right.
So they're not just going to replace the phone. They are going to fix the screen. So if you come in there with that, what are we calling it? So I can refer to it as something. I don't even know.
Foldable?
Apple, I can't do fold.
First foldable iPhone, that's what they're calling it.
I don't know. Anyways, if we have the Apple foldable iPhone and you break your screen on that or you break your back glass, or now are we replacing hinges? But if it's only that thin, call it, I mean, I would say that's about 9.5 with the case because the front and back.
Right.
9.5. If it was this thin, I would be interested. But I don't know how interested.
But I think, you know what's kind of...
Every time you got to open it to go through Instagram.
Kind of mind, but think about the 5.5 on the outside. What you're going to be able to do with that between notifications, every app
You'd
constantly.
probably be able to text and everything off of it.
Yeah. And with
But
Apple Intelligence.
if I opened it, would I actually enjoy it and open it? Like, everything will be desktop view because the size, because it's going to be 2 of these. So let me see your phone. So let's just envision it's the same size it is right now. I'm on my phone. I'm popping it open. First of all, this is a heavy phone, but it ain't going to be this heavy because we just talked about that. But I open it up, and now this is my phone. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I hate it. I don't want any part of it.
It's big. I mean, it is an iPad mini. I mean, that thing is gigantic. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Would you start taking out, like, you think about things like the iPad mini and these smaller displays? That kind of diminishes that.
Right.
It would diminish that.
They would start making stands
the
so they
iPad
can start
mini's
typing.
The iPad mini's $600 versus $2,200. You could buy 3.
And you can get cellular service.
almost 4.
But it doesn't fold.
You can get cellular service on the mini.
Unless you...
Yeah, yours would fold. What's that? My money don't wiggle, wiggle. It folds. Remember that
yeah.
on TikTok?
Yeah, I remember that.
Sorry.
That was
I'm trying to think the right words.
I like the
Says
way
a wiggle, wiggle. It folds. That guy's
the way
voice
you
is funny.
jiggle, jiggle.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know.
Stop.
A lot.
Why?
Something like that. No, that's funny. But the phone, that's actually very intriguing to me. I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah.
That's a great topic, Alex.
My first thought was the foldable. You know how every time we get smaller and smaller?
Yeah.
The first time they make something, it's bulky, kind of like everything else.
Yep.
Just think about the foldable design, and then they'll be able to make it thinner and smaller.
It'll be as thin as this phone,
Yeah.
the next design.
It'll be like a credit card in your pocket. You pull it out, and
That's insane.
right?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty intrigued about that.
So I'm assuming there'll be more of that coming up, especially after we hit the 17 releases. And I guarantee you something will be said at WWDC about all that.
Yes.
Because it's coming closer. So
We're going to unfold a few things today. I already see Tim Cook and that power words.
yeah, in his shoes. My name's Alex.
I'm Landon.
I'm Jonathan.
And episode 41, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. Keep it going.